Around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised.
Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious. Choice is an illusion created between those with power and those without.
7
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
Thank you, John Larson. I receive your kind words on behalf of all of our courageous members of the House of Representatives who want the best for the American people. And what we can do that is best for them in the next 24 hours is to pass affordable, accessible health care for all Americans. The best for all Americans is to have 32 million more people to have health insurance in our country. The best for...
Piece of stinking filth.
Shh, staying in shop. This is AJ of the InfoWars. Listen to the Shaliak. This is Alex Jones of InfoWars. Listen to Shaliak on the Cold Reality News and Report.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Well, hello there.
Well, hello there indeed. And this is not the Shali, but I am standing in for him today. And I about made a big mistake. I went to some friends last night for dinner, and I went to sleep over there. And I'm just now back, just in time. So welcome to UCY.TV. This is Vince Easley standing in for the Shali Lama. And we are UCY.TV, Co-Reality Radio. Oh, Shelley said I didn't have to say that. Look, yeah, I'm chuckling over here, but today we're talking about some serious matters as in concerning, well, I'm titling it The Bundy Boys from Bunkerville to Burns. And here comes a call already, and I'm pretty sure this is Dave. Minor Dave.
Yep, this is Dave. Yep,
thanks.
It's me right here.
I left my phone off the hook last night, and I was gone all night, and it is dead. I'm putting it back on the charger. I got just enough charge out of it to get Dave's call and give him the call-in number here, which is 718-717-8296. So today, we're in the second hour, I've got Rene. She's going to be calling in. I think Corey is going to call in if she gets her computer straightened out. I met
right.
Corey. Okay, Dave, hang with me, brother, and I'm going to bring you in here in just a bit. All righty?
Okay.
Let's see. I've got another. Okay. I got another call. All right. Back. I'm sorry. I'm distracted here. All right. Now I'm back over to chat. Dan B. Cooper, thank you. UCY.TV, 5x5, he says. And JJ, we've got some great folks over here at UCY.TV. Captain Gringo, Dan B. Cooper, Duck Me, Earth Defense Force, I Am Lone Frog, JJ Inc., that's James Freeland, Possible Suspect. If I'm giving you away, that is Michael, Primer Time, UCY Tuesday night, Solvener and myself. Boy, I about made a big mistake. I just got back in time. I went to sleep over at my friend's house last night after dinner. And I'd planned on staying up through the night. Yes, Michael, please do call in because I'd like to start with you, and I want to talk. I'm going to be going out of order here, and I want to talk about the gunshots And Michael is, like I said, from Primer Time, the gun show on UCY.TV on Tuesday nights. I'm going to call him and ask him some questions as an expert witness. Now, there's already the conspiracy theories, the rumor mills are already flying that this has been a false flag, the execution of LaVoy Finicum. So, is what I want to do is get Michael to, I want to ask him some questions. And like I said, I've got my own ideas, but like I said, I've got an expert witness that I'm going to be calling Michael. And here, right, you need to mute your mic there, brother, Dave. Here comes Michael. Michael, we have you on air.
Good morning, Vince. How are you? I'm
doing great. Hey, brother, I'm really proud that you joined me here. And I couldn't think of anybody that is more qualified than you to answer some questions. And we're going to start. Now, like I said,
I don't know if I'm qualified, Vince, but I'm going to lie to you with conviction.
Okay, that works. Now I'm going to start, like I said, completely out of order. I'm not following the trivia method at all this morning. Thank you, Walter. Solving an event. He's on every Saturday here at UCY.TV with the Solving an event. And he is way over across the ways, and I'm waving at you, brother. Thank you, Walter. I owe a lot to this man as my teacher. Now, Michael, immediately after the FBI video was released, the rumor mills started flying. The conspiracy theories started flying. That first of all, they say that was not LaVoy. And also that it was staged and faked, and he was not even shot and killed. So I want to ask you about some of these what was seen there. Now I know you probably watched the video, I'm sure, right?
I've seen the video. I've seen the whole 12-minute video, and then I've seen like a couple sections where they just edited it down to where he tried to run the roadblock in the shooting, and then I've seen videos of just the shooting, and that.
I've spent this, ever since the standoff started out there, I've been deeply entrenched via the Ethernet, but I do have personal experience with several folks that was out there. So I'm invested, I guess, personally in this, and we're all kind of ruled by our emotions and all biased, and I think that I certainly am probably biased and influenced by my emotions in this, and that's why to vet this properly, I'm going to need some people that like Michael here, and Dave's on the line. Thank you, Dave, for calling in. I'm going to come back to you, brother. Dave's out in Oregon. So I'm going to need a little help to make sure that I'm being credible here. Michael, tell me, because people are saying there's no blood splatter. My assumption I'm going on right now is that, from what I viewed on the video, that LaVoy was shot. When he had his hands in the air, he was shot, and it looked to me like his reactions was being hit by a bullet. Looked like he was getting stung by a wasp, or, the jerky motions that he made. But let me start, Michael, with asking you, when that evil black-souled individual walked up and shot him in the head, why do we not see gun flashes from the muzzle flashes and blood splatter?
Okay, your muzzle flash, the lack of muzzle flashes could be explained easily with suppressors. And I would almost guess that this being the hostage rescue team or an FBI team, that they didn't just go out there with an unsuppressed weapon. If they had anything that was unsuppressed, it was going to be the pistols and the shotgun. every 5.56 rifle that they would use would be suppressed in that situation. 5.56 223 rifle makes a significant boom, a boom that's a lot larger than its caliber would suggest. You hear 4 or 5 of them in a row, and it really will ring your bell. So I would guess that the lack of flashes that would be associated with a gunshot would be because the weapons were suppressed.
Okay, so that makes sense. You're not, of course, a film expert, but there's different types of filming that would have occurred. Now, the one we saw from the FBI was from a drone. So there would, I would have to bet that there's probably dozens of cameras that were filming at the same time.
I would almost guess that there was a camera in each one of the police vehicles, and probably on everybody in the tree line, and probably at least half of the guys who were at the roadblock on the road. And there were guys in the tree line, and I mean that's just normal. They put the roadblock at a choke point, at a place that wouldn't. It's just like any kind of hunter is gonna funnel his game into an area where he's got a good clean kill zone.
So this was definitely a setup to contain them at a certain point. It was classical, I guess, as far as how the cops would get somebody in a certain point and then be able to contain them. I don't know why. I don't know why LaVoy was able to drive away as far as he did. I know that one cop jumped in front of the vehicle. He figured probably the speed, the velocity of the vehicle had been significantly reduced when he hit the snowbank, and he probably figured all I got to do is jump in front of him, and then we've got use of deadly force is justified. So. Michael, tell me...
another question you asked was, why wasn't there any blood to be found in the video? It was in the snow. They were wearing warm clothing, which is, more than shorts and a T-shirt. They had jackets. They probably had thick shirts on and T-shirts and stuff, sweaters and all that on. The bullet that he most likely would have been hit with, either in the handgun or in the rifle calibers, even a 30 caliber rifle leaves a very small hole, and the blood would be trapped behind the clothes. I'm not saying that he did not bleed; you just didn't see it because it didn't leave the clothes.
Okay, now what about?
It would have been different if he had an exposed chest or he was wearing just a T-shirt or something. Then you would have seen it. But you're behind a bunch of layers of flannel and wool and canvas jacket and all that. Yeah. It's not gonna pour out unless you hit with something massive that like tears huge amounts of flesh away.
Now that all makes perfect sense, but would you speculate on what pistol was used by the executioner when he shot LaVoy in the head?
I would guess that it would have been either 45 VCP, 40 caliber to the less than 9mm. Just because those are the calibers that they use. The FBI now uses a 9mm, but the hostage rescue team uses 45 VCP. There's really no way to tell from the video what it was.
Okay. Why didn't we see a muzzle flash from that pistol? Now, this is speculation, of course, because we don't know the type of film that was used in the camera and all that. But why didn't we see a muzzle flash from the pistol?
Well, the muzzle flash isn't like a consistent thing. That's not something you're always going to see. Different rounds, different loads, even out of the same lot, will have a different amount of flash. And that's due to the powder, any kind of atmospheric conditions, the angle you're holding the weapon at. I've fired weapons where there's been no flash, and then the next round is a flash.
That's very
interesting. It's just an inconsistency in the ammunition. I don't think that you can say that a lack of flash is proof of that this didn't happen.
Okay.
I would say it would have been much better if we could have seen like an infrared or like some sort of thermal vision, but.
And what about Is it just, would you speculate that on the film quality there a lack of seeing blood on the snow from the headshot or blood splatter? What would you speculate as to that?
You know, this is a videotape released by an agency.
Yeah.
And while it said it was not edited, it obviously was edited because there was a bunch of black bars that were covering the transmission data.
Beyond that, it was edited also. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Beyond that, it was edited also. There's a few like jumpy spots there where it looks like, it went from one spot to another. And what kind of drone pilot is going behind the trees and moving their focus away from the scene of LaVoy's body laying in the snow there? I think that it was purposely moved out of focus for some nefarious purpose. So,
well, the whole videotape in itself brings up a whole lot of questions, right? Because this is an anti-government group that really is kind of working against the common narrative. No matter how you feel about these guys, whether you think they were justified or they were jackasses or whatever, they were in a process of doing something that was against the current narrative. And that's why I think we got the videotape rather quick. It's really interesting. We got that videotape in 36 hours, but we're waiting, what is it now, a month and a half, 2 months after San Bernardino, and how long after Boston bombing, and how long after Sandy Hook, and we can't get those tapes?
Right.
But we get the tape of these guys that are, air quotes around obviously bad guys. And we get that tape quick. To me, that's a bigger question than this tape.
Exactly. Very good point. Let's see, I was going somewhere and I forgot where I was going with that. Dadgummit. So, on the release of the footage. Yeah, that's right. That's where I was going. Now, people, the narrative has been no more free Wacos, right? So, when they set up this choke point, this execution, I think they were hoping to kill more than just one person. Well,
and that's a really good point, right? Because immediately after that, we got the reports before the video, and granted, there's something to be said about the blindness of combat, so to speak. Things happen that where eyewitnesses aren't reliable, but they were very firm in saying that there was at least 100 to 120 rounds that entered that truck. Now this is going to be the FBI. They're going to be firing rifles at this truck, which is going to be a 5.56, and 120 rounds into basically an unarmored vehicle would turn that into Swiss cheese. And anybody, if they put any of those rounds into the passenger area of that vehicle, 5.56 will enter one side of the truck and exit the other side of the truck. So 120 rounds, just imagine 120, 5.56 millimeter lines that run through the vehicle, and see if you can put 120 of those through there and not touch anybody. I think if there was 100 to 120 rounds into that vehicle, there would have been a hell of a lot more casualties than LaVoy dead and then the other guy wounded.
Yeah,
that to me doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree. I think the girl that was in the vehicle, her report was. I'm going to guess there were probably bullet holes in the vehicle, or will be showed to be. But I think her interpretation of the sounds were mostly the flashbangs that were going on. They did knock windows out in the vehicle. They gassed them in there. So, like you said, eyewitness accounts are very, very unreliable. Yeah, JJ, she did get famous instantly, didn't she? And Joe, you had a comment earlier, and I forgot what it was, but it was a good point. So, good morning. We've got some new chatters joining us here at UCY.tv. Also, redirect from reallibertymedia.com. It is now set for, I didn't set it for show now. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go do that. I set it for show next. Show now. There it is. And that was the bang. reallibertymedia.com redirect from. I think I made a mistake and said channel 3. It's channel 6. My bad. I come in late. I stayed at some friends last night. I went for dinner and fell asleep on the couch. So it is Real Liberty Media channel 6 for UCY.tv, and I'm going to have to correct that. Michael, let me ask you for some more commentary while I go fix my...
Sure. Well, number one, I personally don't have a whole lot of sympathy with this group. I will have to say that I'm not necessarily an expert in it. This hasn't been something that I've followed super closely. But I got to say this the right way so I don't sound like a jackass, but I think that their efforts are misguided. If they'd have taken those the band of, I don't know, call them rebel scum or whatever you want to call them, if you'd have taken them and they'd have, I guess, blocked off maybe access to somebody getting their house repossessed from taxes or from some sort of mortgage fraud, if they'd have got 40, clean-living, God-fearing guys on horses with rifles and stopped that, they'd have my support. But in the end, I mean, the people that they were there in the beginning ostensibly to protect didn't want them there. They didn't have the support of the people. They didn't have enough supplies. This doesn't seem like it was well thought out. It was, I almost say it was, they were put up to this. And, you've got well-known flakes that are involved in this. Number one being Pete Santilli, who's just a gigantic asshole.
Yeah.
I think anything in the future, if Santilli gets out of jail, which he will get out of jail, anything that has Pete Santilli's name on it, you might as well know that there are 1,000 heads watching every bit of it.
Yeah, that's where the charges are coming from, actually, is his video inside the refuge there. Because of that footage. There's been I'm not going to turn this into the Pete Santilli show. I know people personally that have been involved with Pete. I met him in Bunkerville myself. First time I saw him, I didn't even know who he was, but I was looking at him, and I've got a lot of study in on body language, human nature, human behavior, facial expressions, and so forth. And you can't lie when a person is adept in reading these types of expressions, inflection in language, micro expressions. You can't. A person cannot lie. Maybe an expert can mask these expressions like a poker player in their tails. Well, the winds are kicking up, my door's blown open, so any banging you hear, and that's the wind here in the Ozark Mountains. JJ says his network is following around the rolling protest, live streaming their location. Yeah, that's Debbie doing that. Corey has messaged me here. Let me go back to Facebook here. Corey Gunnels. You know what? Hey, Corey.
Well, Vince, you and I have kind of been a part of, let's just say, alternative media, whether as somebody enjoying it and using it for reference and listening to it, or actually physically participating in it. We've been around this kind of a bit, and I think we've both got enough time in it to say that anybody who gets any sort of media attention or any sort of monetary benefit from this, I think we can both say with a great amount of certainty that they're not on our team. There is no money in any of this, like, let's just say, air quotes, truth radio. There's no money in this at all. The only way you get money is to sell, I don't know, dehydrated granola or some bullshit like that. This is, and that's where I really have a problem with this, is that this turned into not a media spectacle, but almost a gathering ground for patriots, and I spell patriots P-A-Y-triots.
Yeah, and as far as the Pete Santilli show goes today, that's how I'm going to call it. All right. No matter what Pete's motives are, I do have to give him some accreditation for at least the exposure, the reporting. I mean, whatever word you want to put there. I'm not going to knock Pete today. I could say plenty about him, but I'm not going to. Like I said, I'm not going to make this a Pete Santilli show today.
Well, he is a vital part of this because
yes.
I mean, as the FBI has said, that they've got all their information from his webcast, live stream, however he was putting the information out, he was broadcasting to them.
Yes, that's
and then again, there's a lot of questions. I've seen a video. I don't know how authentic it is, how legit it is, but I've seen a video where there were protesters being asked to sign talent releases. Now, if you're there to overthrow the government and rely upon your guns and your stockpile of granola, you don't really care about talent release. You don't have Hollywood people who are playing lawyer games. Once you've grabbed a firearm and you've taken over some sort of government federal building, which this is, right? It's Bureau of Land Management is a federal agency, and this is their building, thus it's a federal building. Once you do that, you're kind of outside this realm of bullshit, this great big set of distraction like Facebook and Twitter and these rolling video cameras and live streams and shit. If this was real, Vince, there ain't going to be no Twitter. There ain't going to be no Facebook. There is not going to be any kind of live streaming YouTube. These guys are terrorists if it's real.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with that in the fact that this was no more than a sit-in. Being armed, and of course you know this, that being armed is supposedly a right. That, well, and of course that's under attack. But I'm counting this as, and let me back up and premise this some. This choke point execution was completely unnecessary. All they had to do was just go there, call Ammon and say, look, come meet us again at the meeting spot out here on the road. Bring LaVoy, bring whoever.
That's not how it ever works, Vince, because if you really go back into it, they could have arrested David Koresh the morning of the Waco attack when he was jogging. When he went for a 7-mile run 2 hours before everything happened, they could have arrested him on the road. So it's not necessarily about making the arrest and stopping this. This is about putting fear into the regular American people. That's why this is on social media. It's on the YouTube. When it's real, it's not going to be there.
Absolutely. Let me go over here and I'm gonna grab this link. I'm dropping this off into a Tom. Thank you, Thomas, Robert Lockavar, Stewart, Republican Broadcasting Network, Dirty Uncle Sam, Resurrected Republic. He joined me Friday for a call. We have a chat group going on, and I just dropped the link there for the broadcast right now. Okay, and Rene. Okay, Michael, I can't type and do this. I'm going to hand you back the mic. Renee's going to be joining us.
All right. In my opinion, and I've got a completely different set of views on this than other people do. I mean, I believe in personal liberty, your personal freedoms, but there is a responsibility, and once you take it over a federal building, like that set of responsibility changes, and I don't think that you're no longer playing under the same rules as you were, to the point where you were driving up to occupy the federal building. You now become basically an enemy of the state. You're just like Al Qaeda, and I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with it, but that's how the government would look at it. Now, that being said, we have plenty of fake terrorism out there that get on YouTube, to Twitter, to Facebook. That's why we have, the jihad videos coming out of Syria from ISIS that get released by, Middle East Media Research Institute and Rita Katz's site group. They get it before it goes out to anybody. This is manufactured. This is designed to cause drama. This is designed to cause more division and really kind of, I think, to weaken the idea of people standing up for their liberty. And honestly, I think they got a bunch of useful idiots involved in this.
Yes, I'm going to agree with that. Well, I'm going to try to be politically correct here. No, I'm not. The fat boy out there that's one of the holdouts, I'm pretty sure that's the same guy that I met in Bunkerville. And there were others. There was a very few. I'm going to say, first of all, most of the people that were that showed up in Bunkerville were they were genuine. They were sincere in what they were doing. Of course, situations like this is going to draw the lone nut or whatever. I don't know David Fry. He's the fellow that's left there at the refuge. But that one guy, I'm pretty sure that's the same guy that I met in Bunkerville. In lieu of being liable here, I'm going to say that guy is he's looking for some justification for his life, and if he could be martyred, that would give him.
If that's how you feel this guy is, you should stand far away from him.
Yeah.
Because if he feels that he needs to be martyred, what's to say he don't feel that you need to be martyred too?
Well, you know what? Bill Cooper, he was martyred, and I think justifiably he stood for what, no matter his religious views, because religion is so subjective. Okay, I've got another incoming here. No, all right. I think that's you. All right. Sorry about that.
So, Vincent, I mean, like, you almost have to think about this. Was this another honeypot similar to, like, my feelings on, like, the whole Jade Helm thing was that there was never going to be any sort of military invasion. As we saw, nothing ever happened. Nobody ever saw any training. Nobody saw any vehicles or anything. But I really think it was a data mining operation to see who sent out the Facebook posts that they Jade Helm, who sent out the tweets saying Jade Helm, who sent emails back and forth, who made blog postings about Jade Helm. I think this was a way to identify who will be a problem in the future.
I think that's part of what exactly went on, and very accurate. But in reality, that was just more or less just getting people acclimated, prepared for the future, and that is the exhibition of the occupation. We are occupied by a foreign power, and Hal Anthony behind the woodshed, he's coming up here a little later today, 2 p.m.
Well, Vince, when you've got congressmen and senators that have dual citizenship with another country, and it's usually all with the same country, we've got a problem. We are not being run by our people. We are controlled.
That's absolutely right. That's a whole other nest of vipers right there. When that topic is, and for clarification, that is the dual citizenship of Zionists that hold a citizenship there in the occupied state of Palestine. And not only citizenship,
if you really want to get into it, everybody who follows that religion that is in Congress has that, whether they have dual citizenship or not, because they all have the right of return. And the right of return also excludes any sort of, extradition to the United States.
Yeah, that's
whether they have an actual passport or not, it doesn't matter. They've got the right of return. They've got to get out of jail free card.
Yeah, that's a sad fact, and that which a lot of people don't realize, how we're being occupied. Now, when you trace all this back, personally, I trace it back with the different names, or the faces, I guess, the names of faces from the United States, from Zionist Israel, back to the Nazis, and even before that.
And this also goes, the Israeli connection to this is a little bit more than just, our legislators and our politicians. The tactics that the American police, the American sheriffs, the hostage rescue team, all these guys are using, these have all been trial in Israel. And wake up, we're all Palestinians now.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. There's tell us more about that training that the Zionists provide for a great deal of law enforcement.
They will take a sheriff's department, take them to Israel, indoctrinate them into this Zionist method of thinking and looking at everybody like they are. There's a dividing line. There's civilians, and then there's law enforcement. And if you are civilian, you are a target. You are guilty. You are ready to be dealt with in the most severe manner. This training in Israel is more of a population suppression training. It's training for large groups of people and different ways to distract that. A lot of American sheriff's departments have bought an Israeli creation called skunk water, and that's kind of a nice little happy name for it. Gives you Pepe Le Pew visions. Skunk water is water from a tanker truck through a high pressure monitor, and it is pretty much it's a combination of feces and rotting animals and other trash liquid that they spray as crowd control.
How nice.
And you get it on your clothes, and you stink like poo. And that's what they think of you.
Yeah, it's now. What folks are assuming to be a stand for the Constitution? Go to Resurrect RTR Truth Media for Tom Lockevar Stewart. He's got a lot of good teachings there about the 13th Amendment, 14th especially, as far as making us all. Boy, I'm really trying to hold my language. I got kicked from a chat on another network for my choice of words, so I'm trying to avoid expletives here, because I know that some of the listeners now and downline are Christian. So now, personally, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out here. I don't call myself a Christian just because of the fact that all this that comes from the pulpit. But yeah, I am a believer in God from the teachings of the Bible and Christ. Okay, so I'm going to put all that aside, though. But that's why I don't call myself a Christian, is because of the association with that word. But basically, yeah, I am a Christian. Words that whatever cuss word that I might use. And another reason I don't like to call myself a Christian is because then that puts me supposedly to defend and stand with the definition. So the words that we use should not be offensive, whether they're a cuss word or not. But like I said, I'm going to try to not use any today. And generally, it's not a part of my narrative when I'm speaking this to. But sometimes a cuss word is almost you can't get any better word to describe it. So F the feds. There you go. That's what I said, and I mean it. They're evil. They're an occupation, and they're against us. Okay, Corey messaged me. We've got Skype open. I think, Corey, I've got you already in Skype. And Dave, you've been very
What about
patient.
me?
Yes, Dave, you have been. That's exactly where I was going. Dave, you've been very patient. Thank you for holding on. Let me bring you in now, Dave. Give us what you have.
Well, what I have is from watching the video, it is clear that LaVoy was murdered. And so I've been working on Congressman Greg Walden to appoint a special prosecutor and to look into not only that matter, but the matters of mining. And I'm recommending they appoint Mark Levin as a special prosecutor because he was Reagan's number 2 at the Justice Department under Ed Meese. And he is a lawyer, so he's got his hands tied, but if you really listen to him, he's a liberty-loving guy. He may be a little confused at times to time because he's a lawyer. Most lawyers are confused about what real liberty is, but he, out of all the lawyers I've ever heard, he's the closest one that believes in liberty. Well, he believes in a strong defense and maybe using it too much, but we can fix that. What we need here is a special prosecutor, not any of these government ones that are currently working for the government, because they'll be biased to the government. I don't know if this was. It doesn't appear to me to be justified. I've seen I've seen gun battles by police before that were justified. This one wasn't one of them, and so I would say that we need, we the people need to call your congressman and demand an independent investigation with a special prosecutor. And it doesn't have to be Mark Levin. That's just my suggestion. I would say that the government, the FBI agent in charge, special agent in charge, well, there was an article out on him that Kirby Jackson shared from Galease Mining District that shows that he was demoted from Utah and moved to Portland because of his handling of national security secrets and confidential files. And he was a bureau chief, and he was removed instead of fired and prosecuted for that. They just demoted him and moved him to Portland. So that guy already has a problem. Maybe they're going to hang him out to dry. I don't know. But the state police will not release any of the films, and the state autopsy, it will not be released. And there's only one good reason for that, and is that they're planning a trial of some sort, or we call it a grand jury, because none of that stuff could be released unless there is going to be a trial. Until the trial. That's why you can't get the stuff out of Ferguson, because people were being charged. And since people have been charged in this, and I believe the woman, the man that was testifying from the film, he couldn't see any of that. So but we can disregard that one guy, whatever his name is. I'm terrible with names. But you can dismiss him as a liar. You can read it in his body language. The way they got the light, they got it dark so that you can't hardly see his body language. They knew he was lying when they filmed it, and they took his testimony, and they rubber stamped his lie. Government does that when it's beneficial to them. Remember, an FBI agent can lie to you, but if you lie to an FBI agent, you go to jail. So the first thing you ever do when an FBI agent comes up, you're going to say, "I'm assuming you're lying, and I want to have my lawyer present." Because see, at that point, he can't talk to you anymore until he gives you a lawyer, and he has to bring you a lawyer if you're in we call it informis papis, and everybody is informis papis if they don't have $50,000 in assets in the federal system. That's a minimum. So what I would suggest is if people really want to get to the truth, pressure Congress to appoint a special prosecutor. This is my opinion, because I believe it'll be proven out as murder and execution, as you say there. And the reason why they didn't kill the rest of them, they weren't afraid of the rest of them. They were afraid of LaVoy, because he was a spokesman. He was very articulate. He was explaining how they wanted to coordinate with the community. They were going out and going to political meetings. By the way, going to a county meeting, you're not supposed to be interfered with by law enforcement. That's a federal crime right there in itself. When if they knew they were going to a adjacent county to a political meeting, they have immunity to go to that meeting. Every citizen does. So, whether you think they were right in the occupation, this was no different than any college thing. By the way, federal building is not owned by the federal government. It's owned by we, the people. And this is where we stand here. We stand with a tyrannical government that's the same as the king. We're living through the first American Revolution. Only it's the United States, our own government, and they're trying to make us into serfs. They're trying to recreate a king. They're going to call him president, but they're trying to recreate a king and that can rule by dictate. I believe that our governor, non-elected governor, appointed because of a corrupt governor before that was supposed to resign. She was pressuring the FBI to do something. So I think maybe our current governor that was appointed should be investigated for conspiracy to commit murder with the FBI. Because if she encouraged them to do that, that's conspiracy. You don't have to, and you don't have to know that they were going to kill him. All you have to do is put pressure on somebody to do something, to take action that's illegal. That's conspiracy. And by the way, that's not a theory looked up. That's the law. Conspiracy charges are not theories if they're real. A theory just means you have a theory, you don't have any evidence. Obviously, we got all kinds of evidence of a conspiracy by the BLM and the Forest Service, because what they're doing what they're trying to do to the people that work on the land. And by the way, when you own a ranch, those were originally those grazing rights. They go with the ranch. The ranch owns owns the grazing rights, and not the individual. He owns the ranch. The ranch is, so if they sold their ranch, the grazing rights go with it. And it was supposed to be in perpetuity. The fees that they were to pay would be in perpetuity, never to be raised. Never. Because the grazing rights are a grant. They're a right. They're a property right. And nobody else can use the grazing rights unless you have that right. And if you have that right, the money that you were to pay for that goes, you pay it to the agency, but it's supposed to be a pass-through directly 100% to the county. That money is supposed to go to the county, not to the agency. They're not even to get a administrative piece out of it. 100% of the fees are to go to the county.
Yeah, that brings the point, brings to bear a very good point. And the whole reason for all this. Now, Friday I had Patty Beers, and she's a writer there at the Anti-Media, which broadcasts five days a week here, the Anti-Media on UCY.tv. And they also, of course, have their column, Occupy. I'm sorry. What was it about Monsanto? Occupyment? No. Man, I'm sorry. My information is not in front of me. Anyways, and Thomas Lockevar Stewart joined me Friday over at Real Liberty Media for This Is No Time for Rational Thinking. And that's basically what we've got as the narrative for most people. Now, I've subtitled that one, Bleeding Heart Liberal Meets Right-Wing Extremist. And I knew when I set up for these folks to come in how much they were going to agree, and perfect. I met both of them at Bunkerville, Patty P.M. Beers and Thomas Robert Lockevar Stewart. Corey Gunnels is online right now too. I'm going to be bringing her in. I'm bringing Rene Powers. She's going to also join the call. Corey was at Bunkerville, and if I remember correctly, oh no, she's ringing and not on actually. Dadgummit. Let me hang up on her and on Rene and try to add them again. Doggone it. Not sure what's going on. But the reason for mute your mic, please, Dave. The reason for seizing these lands, the left is thinking, yeah, this is putting property aside for wildlife and preservation and stuff. But the truth of the matter is, they are. This is occurring. Okay, they've dropped off. Now I'm going to go try to add them. They're doing so for securing the debt to the Federal Reserve, which is not federal. Okay, I'm distracting myself. I think I got Corey coming in.
This is a very important point that you're making. Where I've got some kind of disconnect with this whole thing is these are people who are revolting against the system. The way that things work are not accurate, not acceptable to these guys. So does anybody else see that there's some sort of problem with hating the system, taking over something, and then wanting some sort of redress through the system that they hate?
Yes. Corey, I'm having a problem getting you on here for some reason. Maybe if you call me, listen, let me mute up. Let me go over in case she's not hearing right now. Let me go over back, because she fell off again. Dadgummit. And Rene. Dadgummit. Dave, or Michael, either one of you guys, let me hand you the mic. Let me go over here and see if.
Well, all right, so I can go ahead and talk. What we got here is we've got unlawful, illegal government action, rubber stamped by a court. And by the way, that's an administrative court. It's not. He was not in an Article 3 court. He's in an Article 4 court where they go by rules, not laws, and rights. And they don't recognize rights. They don't care about rights. So if you want to exercise your rights, well, you have to, the only ones that are allowed to do that are the ones with money. If you're like me and you have a case like I have, which I have news on, they convicted me of and gave me 30 days in jail for living on my plane without a plan of operations for my mining claim. And I was showing them under the law I didn't need one. I had a permit called the Covenants for the Grant, called the mining law. And so what happened in this case is I finally got off of probation, and in order for me to go back to my claim, I had to do a plan of operations. Well, I was ordered to do one with the Forest Service and the BLM before I could move back out on my claim. BLM's telling me I don't need a plan of operations if it's less than 1,000 tons per year per claim. And so that rule was never brought up at my trials. And the prosecution never shared it with my attorney. And so they had a rule that said I didn't have to have a plan of operations. So my attorney now says, well, if BLM's recommending you don't have to have that, and then I get to take the, even though I went all the way to Supreme Court, they didn't hear the case, I get to go in front of Magistrate Clark again and Judge Mosman again with the other attorney, and I get to present this rule, and the BLM saying I don't need a plan of operations for 1,000 tons or less a year per claim. And so I'll be finding out if the Forest Service, because they had a change of personnel, the people that were there have retired, and the new people are in there, and you're looking at this rule of recommending I don't need a plan of operations.
Okay.
So, and that gets in front.
I'm sorry, let me interrupt. Okay. I've got Corey on. I've not been able to add anybody to this call unless you call me for some reason. Shali, go ahead and call me through Skype right now, and that way I can add you to the call. That's what Corey did. I was trying to add her and Rene and for some reason it would not add. So I was able to add Corey now by Skype with her calling. Shali, go ahead and call me at Skype and I'll add you. Welcome, Corey Gunnels. She and I met in Bunkerville, and for a long time I was rolling around trying to remember when we did. There's Shali. Great. But Corey, you were there. You are a go-to source for me for almost all the information I have is because of you. You've been working tirelessly in providing information, and I really appreciate all the hard work you've done. I flat fell out last night. I went for dinner at my friend's last night and ended up staying the night there, and I got back here just in the nick of time. But I flat just wore out, just like you. I mean, up till 4 o'clock in the morning and back up at 7 for days now. So, Corey, welcome. You're in Arizona. You were at Bunkerville. You've been covering all this quite well. Shali, please stand by with me. Michael and Dave, thank you guys. Corey, welcome. Welcome to the call.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think we're all tired. I woke up to a blank computer screen and had to figure that out. Yes, we've all done late nights and early mornings, and I think as responsibly as possible trying to cover what's happening there and follow. And it's very difficult. It's not easy. There are elements of this that I think are, as we all are aware, that are highly, highly, highly orchestrated. And then, there are real people, real citizens, real patriots, coming from all different areas that are chiming in or actually traveling to Burns or Harnett County. It's the age of the cell phone, and so you're getting a lot of video uploads, and it's very hard to keep track of who is who is where, what's good information, what's disinformation. And at the heart of it all, realizing that this is a precedent-setting historic situation, important to every single person in the country and actually the world. So that's kind of where we are, and even this morning I haven't been able to review what's happened since last night, and I can certainly see the Facebook post that new information has already come in, and I haven't reviewed it.
Okay. Look, I got you, Rene. Finally, stand by just for a second, Rene and Corey. Shali is the actual host of this program, and I'm filling in for him today, and I've added him. Let me bring Shali in, and Rene and Corey, stand by with me just a minute, and we're going to come right back to you. Good morning, Shali.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, you're doing a fine job today, much better than I do.
Yeah,
it sounds a great conversation, a lot of activity. So yeah, man, it's been great, and I'm kind of finished what I had to do in the 10 o'clock hour. So I'm just looking forward to joining in on this roundtable with all these incredible people.
Okay, stand by with me, Shali. I'm going to bring Rene in right now. She has reviewed Shauna's testimony. So let me ask you then to give us what you got there, Rene, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to America as we thought we knew it. I'm really very disturbed right now, and actually I have to tell you, while I was listening to Shauna, she was being reviewed, and I'm sorry I don't know the gentleman's name, and I should. I'm just really taken aback. Shauna is a decent, kind woman, just like all the rest of these men and women are, we know. I'm going to preface this with Mark McConnell. Mark McConnell, we all know, lied. He made up a story. We all know he's a plant. My biggest question that nobody has asked yet, and the gentleman was so taken by her testimony. He didn't ask, when you go out to that refuge, they vet you. Corey and I have had many conversations behind the scenes with our research teams that is together, handling research for these guys. And you don't just waltz out there. You have to meet with people. You have to, when you're going with Ann and Ryan and them. How did this man, who in Shauna's testimony had only been there for a couple of days, end up behind the wheel in his own car driving Buddha and Ammon? Shauna's testimony says, and that's my part of this. That's not what Shauna said. She didn't bring that up, but she did say that he was the one that set him up, that he was the one that pushed for them to not take multiple vehicles, because they were going to take multiple vehicles. The only reason Shauna went was because there was a problem with the person who was supposed to be doing video, and she wasn't going to let Victoria go as a young lady by herself. So this was a complete, it sounds like right at the end before they left it, and this is in my opinion listening to Shauna, like it kind of got into a little disarray because of Mark McConnell. So it was set up. There's no way he was driving Ammon and Buddha, or even part of that convoy, without somebody else inside allowing for that to happen. So everybody can get mad that Mark McConnell was a snitch in there, but I got to question who was the snitch that allowed him behind that wheel. Shauna, and anybody can chime in on that any minute they want, because right now, that to me, first of all, we know the feds have no authority. The shooters and snipers were state police. This whole thing is because they saw, quote unquote, from the senator, a virus spreading. Now, Shauna doesn't know that yet, I doubt, because she's just out. But what her account is mirrors Victoria's. The thing that she adds to this is that there were shots being fired when the video, and Shauna says that video is a lie. They're not showing the truth, which we all probably figured that out already. It doesn't take rocket science to do that. But she's saying that Ryan Payne, when he stuck his hands in that out the window, they did fire upon him. Right. So they were firing before Ryan got out of the car. He got out because he was trying to explain to them where they were going. He gets out and gets arrested. They continue firing from the back upon that vehicle. Victoria wouldn't get out. While they were sitting there after Ryan got out, nobody would get out of the car. Now, I don't know about you guys. If shots are being fired, I don't know. What would you do? But they didn't want to get out of the car. Victoria, who was 18, would not get out of the car. And Shauna would not get out of the car.
This is why there's some sort of discussion about this. There's some sort of interesting, I guess, maybe some sort of like misdirection or something. Because if they were stuck in the car and there was 100 to 120 rounds from a rifle, and these officers, these federal agents, they use armor-piercing ammunition. It's not an armored vehicle. If they were in that truck and 120 rounds went into that truck, there would be a hell of a lot more dead people.
Well, just a minute. That's the second part of it. So I'm just telling you what she said at the first part. The reason he took off was because they were still firing, so he took off. When they get to when they get down the road and get to where the truck goes off the road, her accounting, if you've ever, all of us have had trauma times where, I ride horses. There's that point of which if you're breaking a horse and you get thrown, while you're being thrown, you're in that mode of air. Like, oh crap, what did I do when I land? How am I going to do this? Oh, tuck your head, tuck your shoulder. You do go into a different place when you're in trauma. We all know that. So when they get there, shots are being fired as they're going into the snow, shots continuing to be fired. He gets out with hands raised, and he's down. They're on the floor. At some point in this, Ryan does get hit in the shoulder. Now, it's all I can tell you is that we can all speculate till here to kingdom come. But the one thing, the simplest part of all of this, is there was no authority to do this, period. I don't care when, what, how. They're calling this a traffic stop. I don't know about the rest of you, but if you've ever been pulled over, I don't remember having snipers in trees, armored vehicles, multiple vehicles rolling up on a normal traffic stop. So we can get lost in the minutia of the what ifs and how comes, and I agree with you as far as she said hundreds of bullets. But again,
yeah, but this isn't a normal traffic stop, right? These are guys that have taken possession of the building, and they've made threats. There's no way this can be considered a normal traffic stop. This isn't somebody going for no seatbelt.
But none of this matters, because it's just like anything else. Nothing of this narrative they're putting out, when they're putting out the narrative traffic stop, any excuses that are being given for this, there is no excuse. They had no authority. These people were peaceful. Shauna even said that they asked if they were being arrested while they were being held. They said no. They sat for hours before they were taken, separated, and arrested. So they were told they were not being arrested. They did nothing wrong, So here we go again with the lies.
Exactly, the lies. And I mean, I think, like anything else, disinformation, it's important and responsible to be aware of what they're putting out so that you can set that aside and you can see how they are steering the public to view this. But the other thing is that there have been numerous reports now at this point saying that the sheriff of Grant County was not aware that this was planned. And so back to jurisdiction and back to, the feds having any right to have, any interference or setup or ambush or plans with drones in the air, highly sophisticated operation on that remote stretch of the highway.
Indeed, that right there makes this a murder in itself, because like I said earlier, all they had to do was call Ammon and say, even if they said, look, we've got warrants for you and we need you to come on out and so we can serve this warrant. I know, as well as I know that it's light out right now here, at least in Arkansas, that Ammon would have walked right up to him and surrendered. So that in itself brings.
So as they did in the days before.
Yes.
This is Dave. I have some comment to make.
Okay, hold on, Dave. Let me hand you the mic right now. Stand by, everybody, and after that, I'm going to bring our good, gracious host, Shawley, in, who's been very patient on his own radio show.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Okay, go ahead, Dave.
Anyways, what I'm going to comment on here is you'll probably find that there was no warrant, that it was being written out as a complaint. And the warrant, because they would have had to take it to a grand jury to get a warrant. And since it takes a little time, and there hasn't been any evidence that they held a grand jury, because they didn't say they had grand jury indictments until after they were arrested. That means they convened them afterwards. And so if anybody knows anything about law enforcement, which I should, because my cousin was a lieutenant down in Los Angeles. If he was still alive, he'd tell you that they didn't have any authority to do that, because the state police would have had to have the county sheriff there, because the county sheriff is the chief law enforcement. And you don't have to pull over unless it's real law enforcement. You can just take off. In fact, several states have a law that says if they're not in a marked rig, you don't have to stop. Drive to the nearest police station because people have been fooled and robbed by fake cops. So, by the way, did they answer him saying 120 rounds being shot in the rig and everybody not be dead? Well, they missed. Have you ever heard of they missed? And just because they're using armor rounds. And if you've ever been in a firefight, you would know that because, see, machine guns notoriously miss. You hit maybe 1 or 2 or 3 rounds out of 50 the intended target. And they don't have a right when they're being pulled over. How come they didn't approach them and ask them for their ID like a normal stop? And you keep your hands on the wheel. They didn't approach the rig. They didn't want to take them alive. They didn't want to do that. It's obviously, if you look in the one video, the uncut version, the one officer, in the cut version, you see where he's taking them up for no unplain reason. Well, the reason why is in the uncut version, it shows you. There's a guy shooting at him that was out in the field, and it was shooting at him. You can't see the vehicle, but you can see he fired 3 rounds into the vehicle, and then he walked back to his rig. Well, that tells me he was shooting at him. He did what he was supposed to, and he went back to the rig, and they took off. They didn't chase. They knew they had the ambush set up there. That was so they could shoot them all. Now, they probably intended to kill all of them in the rig, but they missed. And at some point, it's overkill, and they know they're being filmed. And why is it that if this was a legitimate shoot, nobody was going to get charged? How come the autopsy report, you can't get it? And how come you can't get the videotape? Lars Larson put in for a request for books, and he was turned down. Well, obviously, either they're trying to cover something up, or they're getting ready to indict somebody because you hold that information till trial. And anybody that knows anything about court or legal process, they can't reveal. This tape that they just released would be considered unlawful if somebody was going to be paying charges. So they're trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
And they're probably trying to cover up the political people that are pressuring them, like Schumer and Obama and our glorious governor, Catherine Brown, is actually not very smart. She's a political hack. She replaced a political hack. And so what we have here is we have one-party rule. We have leftists running the state. Where Burns is kind of like what it used to be around here, only we had logging instead of ranching. We didn't have as much open space because it was more mountainous. We do have people out here with cattle, and we do have ranchers with grazing rights. But the war on people and their ability to make a livelihood, no logging, no mining, shut everything down, and everybody says the government owns it. The government doesn't own shit. They don't have, excuse my French, but they don't have any right except as a trustee to dispose of the lands. Now, the mineral states can dispose.
This is where the problem comes in. You're speaking about rights, and you're speaking about legal procedure and everything. Yet you step outside the legal procedure. You take this building.
No, you can't step aside because they're trustees.
But then you expect the man to follow the same rules that you're breaking, that you've been accusing him of breaking. To me, it's almost fantasy land that you're expecting some sort of like fairness out of it. If you really think that this is war, then there is no legal recourse. There is no more bullshit within the system.
Well, there is. I'm not ready to destroy the Forest Service.
It's the only way that they understand, and that's violence. If you're going to do this right. Don't do this half-ass like this thing was. If you're going to do it, take it to them, make them bleed. That's the only thing they understand, and they will use every right, every legal trick that they've got, everything in a book to put the screw to you. anything that you've just said about courts and all that doesn't mean a goddamn thing when they've got guns.
Well, it works for me. It works for me. I got the police here afraid to death of me, and they don't even point guns at me anymore because they don't have enough money for what I'll do to them in a court of law. And I've done it before, and I can do it again.
Kind of good communication with your attorney when you're dead.
Yeah. Okay. Let me redirect our conversation now. Charlie, stand by just a minute. You know, everybody's making a good point, and Kateva, everybody that speaks French, pardon the French. Okay, so let's move on without. Let's try not to use expletives, and I'm not trying to censor anything, but
I say fuck on this show every week.
Okay, great, but
can I interject?
Yes, Rene.
And I want you to hear because again, we do research, and I'm a real why person, and anybody that knows me knows it doesn't matter what we're doing if it doesn't make sense. And Corey and I had this conversation yesterday. This is what makes a good researcher. Why? What is the intent? Okay, we know what happened, but we also know that through research, we all get heightened with opinions and everything else. But why is this happening? When a man is standing who's a senator saying there's a virus spreading, we have to stop it. We know what the virus they're talking about is constitutional discussion, rights, the people, who truly is the government. So we start there and we go, okay, now what is their reason? We know the intent is always about the dollar. When you get into this, there's some key things here also going on at the refuge. And everything ties back to what people don't know is underneath all of this, and Ken Doss, I wish we had him on. I should have had him on with us. When you start looking at the insurance side of this, it all ties in to the way they transmit the documents and the accountability behind the scenes. Well, and we've traced it. Ken has proven it. The foundation of all of this insurance and these actions and these documents, and even the documents you're talking about, them filing criminal complaints, them going to grand juries, the patents behind this that are moving the actions completely tie back to Sharia law. So what's happened here, and that's a fact. It's been proven. We have it. Corey can tell you. We're getting ready. This is already out there. So nobody's going to be able to murder somebody because they're trying to hide the information. Because the information is solid, it's where it's protected, and it's going to be out, the whole A to Z of what they're doing. Sharia law is tied into the risk management. Risk management, we know, is insurance. When people say, well, why are they doing this? Under Metropolitan Life, it was patented that the lives they were insuring is agricultural livestock. They've changed us into livestock. Why is BLM so important? Because they're in charge of the agricultural land. They're in charge of all these acquisitions. We know through proof, not just through conjuring up things, but through proof. And we've even seen new evidence come out of the video of the woman standing up at that seminar where they're all clapping about stealing land from people. The proof is that all of this is insured. Every time when LaVoy got murdered, you can bet those agencies are collecting on a death insurance policy as well, because that's part of the liability insurance that's set behind the scenes. So LaVoy's death, as much as we know it was an assassination, they're making bank on the backside of LaVoy's death.
You bet they are, and this goes really, really deep into how these people that are in seats of decision, how this is being used against us. Charlotte, you've been.
Can I finish one more point?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The key about the insurance also, and again, Corey and I and groups have talked about this, is those goons over at the I call them goons. I'm sorry, they are. These people that are left at the refuge, they are ridiculous. Before we got out the news about the talent slips You know, there was a gentleman who did the video. It's very obvious, but it was not intended to get out. A talent slip has more importance when they're saying, oh, yeah, they've admitted they've signed him. That's been admitted now. A talent slip is also an insurance policy.
Wow.
Whoever issued those talent slips to those people at the refuge, that is where you need to go. Those are your key players. That, John...
Rene, make sure you clarify that we're talking about people that are currently at the match.
People that are currently
that were initially there. There were no talent slips.
Yeah, the 4 previously. No, I mean the 4 that are currently there. Thank you, Corey, for clarifying that.
That kind of sounded like it was a joke in a sense, and there's been...
No, it wasn't. He's admitted it. He actually did a film saying, oh, well, it's just a talent slip. It's because they were going to be filming us and they had to have our permission.
Yeah, I heard David Fry say that. I've watched, as most of us have, on the call here.
So does anybody see the just plain BS in this? That you are in the middle of an uprising, yet you're going to play insurance games with somebody else and sign their talent release slips. This doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Well,
none of this makes any sense. Who let these guys in? Who let these guys in?
Hold on.
Who put the call out for every jackass in town to come out? That's who your problem is.
Now hold on just a minute. There were people obviously that shouldn't have been there probably that did get there. I'm not going to speculate.
Well, the key players in this, the key players behind the scenes, and I'm not going to go into this right now on here, but all of you know that there's key players that have been at everything, from Waco to Oklahoma to this to many major events. And all of a sudden you see the same face pop up before Casey Massey gets arrested, before Schuyler got arrested, before Charles Dyer gets arrested. These are key players, and we're taking our eye off the ball when all we're talking about is how LaVoy had a gun, or whether he didn't have a gun, or how many shots they fired. It doesn't matter if they fired one bullet. They didn't have authority to do it.
That's
period.
right.
That's what we need to be talking about. We don't need to be arguing back and forth about our opinions of how it went down, because we have 2 good witnesses, those women that were in the car. That Mark McConnell, he is the plant. Okay, we get that. How do we fix this? We quit arguing about the stuff that we can't help, that is history, but we can go forward and change this. We're talking about the right stuff. We need to be talking about that senator who's calling this a virus. We need to be talking about that governor who's not even elected, Sheriff Ward who isn't elected, how they all came together. And I'm going to give you one more thing. In Ontario, after this happened, there was an event put together where Ammon actually was supposed to speak at. But in Ontario, they had their seminar about the Constitution. The next day, there was one held in Malheur, where the Sheriff Wolf showed up. Now, you know Sheriff Wolf was helping Sheriff Ward. Sheriff Wolf got in a heated conversation prior to the event with one of the other men, and I'm not going to mention his name because I didn't ask, but it has been proven. I've had multiple witnesses who have no connection to each other tell me, yes, Sheriff Wolf did have that heated discussion. There was an argument. Part of that argument included him pissed at Sheriff Grant, or Sheriff Palmer. He was pissed at Sheriff Palmer. Now, why would you be pissed at Sheriff Palmer? Because Sheriff Palmer wouldn't go along with them. He wasn't going along with them. They couldn't get into Sheriff Palmer's county because once they crossed his line, they knew they would be taken to task. They did it in Sheriff Ward's jurisdiction because Grassley's running this show. This is Grassley running this show. Why is Grassley running it? This is all out of control, and we've got to focus. Who was the authority? They had no authority, so who gave the thumbs up? We've got a senator calling it a virus and it's spreading. Bullshit.
But
we're pro-government. We are pro-government people.
Renee, remember,
pro-transparency.
Remember, the only photograph that came up for the media spread everywhere of any sheriff involved in the situation on the highway was who? Sheriff Palmer.
Yep.
It was to dirty his image. What did it show you? It showed you him standing there with a long gun, right?
Okay, is that JJ? Do I have you on telephone, JJ?
That's affirmative.
Okay, great.
You guys hear me all right?
Yes, we got you good.
Morning, JJ.
This is my good friend James Freeland, Against the Wall. So the short of the long story is JJ is responsible for me being on radio to start with, and he's a good friend. He's got a lot of different opinions on this other than I. JJ, stand by. Shawley, you've been very, very patient. Let me let you get in here on your own show for a little bit, and then we're going to go to JJ.
You're doing a fine job, and I look forward to hearing what JJ has to say, because he and many other people on this round table know so much more about these events than I do. The thing about this is that when we talk about legality and we talk about things that they can and that they can't do to us, you know what? They set the rules. They bastardized law. The Bar Association is a club that is there to deceive us and to make us believe that the Constitution applies to us, when it only really applies to the Masons who signed the documentation back in the day, and their posterity, which very well could be Barack Obama, because he's related to landowners in Indiana. Okay, so this is a kind of a bloodline thing. Aside from that, they look at us as livestock. Okay, they look at us as livestock. When they kill us, they look at it as they're killing their property. And when they get another police officer, some law enforcement person to kill another person, that is their property killing another portion of their property. If I take someone's life, they're not looking at me as I'm an immoral person for killing that person. They're looking at me and saying, you stopped him from being able to produce taxes for us, just like a cow produces milk or meat or something. They look at us like we are livestock, and that's literally what we are, livestock to them. So, I mean, we really have to look at this fiction that they provided. There's layers to all this deception and the legality, and when we sit here and say they can't do this, the Constitution doesn't allow them to do this, they do whatever they want because they bastardized everything. If there was anything that was good about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, they have subverted it with some kind of artifice, an artificial reality. And even, we sit here, we care, we're going through this stuff with a fine-tooth comb. We have to look even further below the surface because there's even more deception. I mean, everybody is passionate about this is awesome, and the thing here is that we're going to see much, much more of this. We're going to see more of these events, and it's really people, it's really the commoners. We are commoners. And we're commoners that understand that we're being deceived. There's many more commoners out there that do not understand that we're being deceived. And just like, to use the Matrix as a comparison, so many of these people are so inert, so desperately dependent on the system that they will fight to defend it. So that's who's the enemy, the people or the bloodline?
Very good.
That's it for me. If anyone disagrees with me, please just tell me.
Okay, great.
Okay, so I agree.
All right. Listen,
virus is a cure. When they're saying that the virus is spreading, we have to realize anything they consider a virus is because they consider it causing them harm. When we hear virus, we have to realize that means, America, we found the cure. The cure is standing up. The cure is taking our rightful place and not allowing the narrative to be a virus. It's a cure. That's what happened. This was not a standout. It was a stand up. It was not a standoff.
That's exactly.
For the cure, which scared the hell out of them when we started releasing the facts between everything that was being found out behind the scenes, the money laundering, the pedophilia, everything that can be proven behind the scenes, scared the living hell out of them because the virus to them kills. Remember, a virus, if you get a virus, it hurts you. And
you know,
right. Listen, can I say something?
Sure.
We won't look because we've only got a few minutes left, right till noon, and you have to keep. I have to keep the issue separate because there are all the legitimate battles going on in the court. Listen, in Oregon, there are legitimate court battles that are ruling in favor of local miners. There are many miners and ranchers that pay their fees, that fight their battles, that are successful. Okay, so it's not. So there are. And the constitutional thing, and all these things are legitimate, and the battles with the federal agencies, okay, but and here's something that I want to tell you, all right? The Hammonds didn't ask the bunnies to come up there, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, I guarantee I know some Hammonds, and I lived in southern Utah. I lived on the Arizona Strip, and if I lived right outside Colorado City, okay, and if people who are backing the Bundys and all that don't even know what Colorado City or Arizona Strip or Centennial Park is. You got no business backing them other than the constitutional issues and the actual legal issues, which are true. And I guarantee that while the Hammonds are absolutely sorry to see a man like LaVoy be gunned down extrajudicially with no due process, they didn't want this. Their blood is not on their hands. All right, the Hammonds. All right, let me tell you something about Desert Mormons, fundamentalists. All right, and this does matter with them. This is a constitutional authority aside. This is legalese, lawful aside. Okay, I worked for Hammond Drywall. I worked for the Hammonds in southern Utah. I lived just a few miles from Colorado City, where the official polygamy, the official fundamentalism, where Warren Jeffs was from, where and let me just tell you something about desert ranchers, Mormon fundamentalists. Felony evading is nothing. Just another day on the job. Going down, shooting, firing. Dude, they know. They knew that a guy like LaVoy, they've dealt with those people before. They know they'll go down like that. So whether the video is real or not, it doesn't matter, okay? He deserves, even if there's a video of him smashing a baby's head. We live in America with due process. He deserves to be in court, right? And that's where I stand. That's the take. But, okay, so let's go with what I know about the Hammonds and why I would support them and why, listen, they committed a crime, and those Hammonds, Dwight and his son, they went to do their time like men. You play, you pay, all right? Being free really does. Doing what you want. Listen, they did what they did knowing that there was possible risk. All right? They did that eyes open, and they're faced that possible risk like men, not like babies. They did their time, yes, and I'm against them having to go back. I'm against all mandatory minimum sentencing. Okay, so the Hammonds, this is what happens, all right, outside the secret fundamentalism that happens on these ranches in southern Utah. And this is why they have a guy like LaVoy could rest his soul, I'm not in any way sanctioning what happened. I'm telling you what happens to these ranches and why I love the Hammonds, okay? What happens is this is why some of these ranches can go through 50 foster children in a decade, in 10 years. Okay, and it's mostly boys. Because once they get old enough where the foster care system stops paying for them, any girls that they get stay. They stay and they'll go on food stamps and they'll go on welfare. The boys are thrown away. They're gone. A lot of these kids, some of them in these big foster ranch families, or especially even closer to Colorado City and Arizona Strip, where you're on where you can, in 5 minutes you can be from Nevada to Arizona or Utah. All this area, there's no real border to them. It's their domain. Okay, so they get, and in the communities, again, even in the towns, not the big towns, the desert towns, okay, these families, these freaky communities, okay, the elders, in order to be able to pick and choose and to keep the younger women, all right, it's not, they can't officially marry them. They keep them there as, quote, foster children until the state stops paying for them. The boys, they kick them out of the community, let them starve in the fucking desert. It's people like the Hammonds, the fucking Hammonds, those beautiful fucking Hammonds who are not desert welfare fucking ranch fundamentalists, LDS, secret pieces of crap, Illuminati militia. All right, they're beautiful people. Take those boys, the ones that have been used up by the ranchers, that the system don't fuck pay for no more, right? And they teach them how to hang sheetrock. They teach them how to build houses. They give them enough money to buy land, to buy their own little communities, to rescue the girls that they fell in love with in some of these places, knowing what's in store for them when they get thrown out. That's what I know about the Hammonds. That's what I know. I'm not accusing LaVoy. I'm not accusing Bundy. I know that there's people. I lived in southern Utah. I know there's people that have seen Bundy and seen Warren Jeffs, a fucking baby rape.
I think we're going off a little bit, JJ.
Has to do with the Constitution, with the BLM, doing things extrajudicially. I'm talking about the people that you've got that are surrounded, okay? Then there's that one shit show, that their shit show. Now, predicting that a fundamentalist Mormon rancher is going to have a shootout with federal authorities is like predicting when you have a toothache that there's a cavity there.
Yeah. This goes into a lot more issues than at hand. I think you have some good valid points. I interviewed some of the Lost Boys out in Bunkerville.
Oh, I lived with them. They're fucking rescued me.
Yeah.
Because of the Hammonds.
But listen, Cliven Bundy is not a polygamist.
No, not officially. None of them are officially anymore.
No, I don't know that Cliven has any other. I lived out there. I lived in Moapa Valley. I went to school. And
I know you do. That's why I wonder why you're back with some of these people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
We're talking about the lawful issues with government.
Right.
That shit is all fucking valid and legitimate.
Okay, again, I'm going to interject here.
Yes.
I hear what he's saying, and a lot of research goes to this. And JJ, you'll hear, I already said that we have researched and we have put out in, and we're going to be doing more about the pedophilia. The things that are going on, though, in Harney County and in Oregon and all over the country tied to child trafficking and human trafficking are real.
I know all about it. I've interviewed John.
Let me finish. I hear your passion because we interview people like you who have been part of this. What we have to remember is that part of why this happens is because we have no real boundaries anymore. We have to be taking care of our brethren, and we have to watch out for them. And there are people, the Hammonds. I can tell you right now, the Bundys are good people. They are not. The Bundys are good people. Hammond, Ryan, these are salt-of-the-earth people. LaVoy, what they have in common, and the key denominator here of abuse and who we are finding tied to everything you're talking about goes back to the BLM. Because as Charlie said, we are seen as livestock. They find ways through insurance, through bonds.
If you can recognize that they see us as livestock, how can you rebel against the system yet appeal to the system for redress?
They want to use the system for welfare until it collapses. That's the goal. Just like the over New York.
How can you fight against the system and then come back to the same system that you're fighting against and say that you're being unfair?
Let me interject there.
They're trying to get legitimate us the true patriots in America. They're trying to gain, the Mormons are trying to gain legitimacy through us. They're using constitutional battles. They're real. BLM, all the stuff you say about BLM is real too. Those things should happen. All these battles, there should be an investigation into why that man, into the murder of LaVoy, regardless of what I think of the man. It was extrajudicial, even though I know that they know that these people, a lot of these fundamentalists will go down shooting, so they've been briefed on what's going to happen, especially if they're running roadblocks. Look, when you go up there thinking that you're in there for a constitutional battle, that's a day in the park for these guys. They have no problem going down shooting, but it ain't for the Constitution. They don't want to be told what to do by this. They want to see it fall.
Yeah, okay, hold on. This
anyone is wrong. Compartmentalizing anyone. Those who watch that key is hands up. They had no authority. No gun should have been fired, period. Again, we can opine on what he was thinking or what he wasn't thinking. LaVoy was a good man. There are bad people in every element.
Ma'am, I was not meaning to impugn his reputation or nothing.
No, I'm speaking
Man,
to
I believe he was fighting for something he truly believes in. And I find that to be
let me stop everybody just for a moment. Okay? This isn't about
you know that Vinny, you know all that stuff out there with Santilli, with, the stolen valor, all the eggheads running around talking about, if you run into a roadblock, shoot them. That's separate. That's because it was easy. It's easy to predict that there's going to be a problem with the government. So they easily have predicted that this was going to happen, that the Hammonds were going to be getting sentenced. They could have easily predicted this. So they set up the Fed part of it, where a couple of weeks before the Hammond rally, the peaceful rally, there were people that were probably Feds driving around ominously, following people, harassing people that weren't bunnies, it was so easy to predict that something's going to happen that you could create a complete federal operation around it.
Let's stop for a minute.
Because I didn't want to derail. There are good legal battles going on.
Okay, let's stop. Let's not continue in the direction right now of polygamy or whatever. The issue.
Not polygamy.
Or religion or any of that.
They don't marry those girls.
I'm not a Mormon, but I know a lot of good Mormons. I know a lot of Mormon people. They're good.
Mormons are good Mormons.
Yeah, I don't care about one's religion, as long as it's being.
Well, they do.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go.
Hey, thanks, JJ. Love you, brother.
That. I do want you to talk about all the legitimate legal things that you need to.
Let's get back on track, okay? Let's.
That is part of the track. You should realize
it is, and it's a separate issue at this point right now.
All right.
As far as this broadcast is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, that is.
Over and out.
All right. Look, I don't mean to be censoring or anything like that. JJ is a good friend of mine. We do have we stand a little differently on some issues. I think JJ has a lot of great valid points, but I'm sorry. I want to get back on track here.
Never apologize for someone else's feelings or someone else's passion. That man is passionate. He has a right to be.
Yes.
He has experienced things that some could never understand. So what he just said has validity. It's just when we're doing shows like this, we also have to take the validity and stay on track. And what he said is going on in many communities. And that's what, again, they're calling a virus is our cure, because these things going on are no longer in the dark. And that's what is scaring the hell out of them, because this is coming out. All of these passions of people who've been harmed, the one common denominator, what he's talking about, what we're talking about, what happened to LaVoy, is overreach, a government out of control who is a corporate entity for profit. When you put profit into anything, it's going to be bastardized. Just like Shirley said, everything has been changed. Why? Because in the court system, these are not real courts. They're businesses. So when you as a judge are sitting on the bench and your business and your retirement is completely wrapped into the banks and deep pockets, you are looking at your livestock standing in front of you. What more does it matter if you slaughter one more cow?
Ma'am, that's exactly my point for me. If you're rebelling against this system, there's no possible way that you can appeal to the system that you're rebelling against for any sort of compensation or any sort of redress.
Exactly.
Because that's not how the system works. That's not how the system works with you.
It's a system that is their business. What we have to realize is we were never forced. This was an evolution of us believing that this was a system we had to be a part of. Right. We do not have to contract. These are all third-party contractors. These courts, these sheriffs, the police, the counties, all of them third-party contracts together. When you realize that the county board of supervisors, all the attorneys, everybody at the lower level that you know, they're the ones, exactly, it's a business. They're signing a business. They want somebody to protect their business, so they have a sheriff department. They want somebody to protect the streets. They've got the police. They want somebody to protect
So how do you use that system that has the mechanism to keep you down?
You've answered the question.
And I think that's the thing. That's the thing, like the gentleman just said.
This is exactly, their key thing here is we can't. And the education going forward, and this is what is so hard about where they are right now in the very system that we are attempting to show is not real, because that's all a game. The stuff going on in that court on the surface, you have to realize that that's their game, like you just said. How can you walk into somebody else's game? You're walking into a hockey game with a basketball. You cannot compete with their rules. People do win, but the reason they win is because somehow financially behind the scenes, it mattered to that bench. They won too behind the scenes. It's all money. This is not
it perpetuates the system.
So how do we get out of the system? There is fact, de jure, de facto. We, the people, have the ability to have our own courts. That's what was going on here. That's why you saw the common law judge come in. And people want to say, oh, that won't work. Well, yeah, that's how our country started. So we're trying to get back to the basics and teach people that, yes, these courts are not courts of justice anymore. They're injustice. And I'm telling you, we are seeing judges removed. We're seeing court clerks. We had, the court clerks run the court. Again, business. This isn't about people. When you go in there expecting to be treated like a man or woman, you're not. It has nothing to do with you as a man or woman. It has nothing to do with whoever was murdered. It has nothing to do with right from wrong on the person, on the breathing side. Everything in that court is about money. And right now what's happening in that court, in the federal court, the only way there's going to be justice is if those at the top, really the honorable ones, because there are good people who've gone in, and you and I know, sometimes you'll go and you'll say, oh yeah, I'll do that job, and then all of a sudden you start doing that job where you were told you were going to be sweeping floors, and you find out you're shoveling poop, and you're walking through dead bodies. That's not what you were told. You were told you were sweeping. The actual job is you're sweeping it under the rug and you're hiding crime. There's a big difference.
That's true.
It's really about withdrawing consent, and there's not
exactly.
enough people There's not enough people withdrawing their consent from the system because they're hopelessly enslaved by it and money. It's about commerce.
And that's the cure. When they call it the virus, they know right now this country, the people, have woken up that, hey, that's not our system, that's their system that they tricked us into believing we have to participate in. Right. Good.
Hey, welcome, Steve, over at Real Liberty Media, a friend of yours, Rene. So we have chatters at ucy.tv where we're airing the broadcast, and at reallibertymedia.com. redirected right back here to UCY.TV. So I appreciate. I'm having a hard time keeping up with everybody. We've got a lot of information flying with, and we've already almost gone through the 2 hours. So welcome. I'm glad for all the participation. It has been stated that we all have our emotions playing a part here, and I certainly do. I will admit that freely. We've got about 10 minutes
I'd like
left.
to say one thing.
Yes, I was just coming to you, Dave. Let's see. We've got Dave, Michael, Rene, Corey, and Shali. James, JJ has dropped off. And what I want to do, let me give everybody a couple of minutes. Let's round this out. Dave, go ahead and take a couple of minutes here.
Yes. Remember, I didn't know personally LaVoy. He was my face-up friend by his work. He was a very articulate speaker. And we should all pray for his family, for the Lord, and the people that shot him, that we can figure this thing out. Because, see, the point is a human died, regardless of what the issues are. And whether you believe it's murder like I do, or an execution, or you figure it's justified, we're having a breakdown of our society. And last time this happened, there was a major civil war. And they call it, and so what I would say is that cooler heads prevail, and let's do this smart and honor LaVoy and his fight. That's what I have to say. I'm emotional too.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Dave. This is Miner Dave out in Oregon. He and I have been friends. He with Colby carried the second hour for me for a while on What Matters Worldwide when I was broadcasting that show here on UCY.TV. Let's go to who would like to step up next? Maybe I just say go ahead. By the way, Liza, welcome. A good friend of mine here at UCY. We have a lot of people here that interact and have been friends for a very long time. So I probably stand apart a little more than others on this. And like I said, I think I'm emotionally invested into this. And like I said, I do admit that. So,
hey, listen, I think a lot of the point was the one gentleman said that the only way is to react with violence, because you can't play their game. I think their whole game is to push you so far into a corner that the only way that you can respond is through violence, and then they have the remedy for that.
Yeah, certainly. And I neglected to mention Michael also on the call. He is a host of Primer Time here at UCY.TV, playing Tuesday nights and replaying on Fridays. Michael, come on in for a couple of minutes. Let's come to the. We're coming up to the end, so take a couple of minutes, and we're going to go to Corey and Rene then.
Well, I'd just like to say thanks for this. I mean, this has been a very interesting show. I really can't stress enough that once it gets any kind of traction in the media and names like the officer of Santilli, once somebody of Santilli's caliber shows up with something, it's broken. Get the hell away from it. Stay the hell away. And I really don't see the logic in knowing that the system is corrupt and use the corrupt system to fix itself.
Well, Hal Anthony brings to bear a great many points, and he's coming up here, let's see, 11, in 3 hours. Hal Anthony, UCY.TV, originating from Real Liberty Media, so we're simulcasting. So definitely stick around. We have Ron Game On is next from Canada. Another great man that has a lot of points. So if you're listening live right now, stay tuned. We have Ron Game On next, followed by the Corbett Report, and then Hal Anthony. Lots of great radio today. About 6 minutes left, 5 minutes left. Let me pass to Corey and then Rene.
I guess I would just finish by saying we are clearly, everybody can feel it to the core of your being. We are in a transition in this country, in this world, and we can all feel it. There are a lot of distractions. This is a primary precedent-setting event that's turnkey and needs to be handled responsibly. There's a lot of disinformation. Like I said earlier, it's important to look at the narrative that comes out on the mainstream or from the sheriff department or Harney County or wherever. Look and see where they're steering this. Hold it lightly, but study it carefully, as well as the media. But remember, this is about something else. This is about uncovering the truth. That can be very dangerous. We're dealing on levels with, individuals that do not want any of this revealed, but don't be afraid of it. So stand up, and I would just say be very responsible with it. Don't share disinformation without calling it out. Each time you do that, somebody shares it from you who does not label it as to what it is. All you're doing is helping them, spread it. So be patient as this unrolls, and be wise. Be part of this because that's what's needed. This cannot be changed with just a few people. It's going to take perhaps a revolution.
Very good. Rene?
Well, again, a revolution just brings us right back to where we were before.
Yeah, not necessarily an armed revolution.
But who's making the change in that? Who's making the change in the revolution there?
Well,
yeah, I'm not calling for any violence. That's never, ever. But a change.
Yeah, very good point.
See, that's the fallacy of the whole thing. That you can't work within the system and not call for violence, because when the system works against you, violence is the first thing that is used. And the death of this man is proof of that. There's no redress through the broken system.
I'm not saying that.
Right.
I guess I am saying that there's no way to fix this except for bloodshed.
I disagree.
And to play within the system is foolhardy. It's just wasting time.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you, Michael. Before we run out of time,
what you're saying.
I'm sorry, Michael.
Because it will cause a lot of bloodshed.
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you, Michael. I'm sorry. We're coming up to the end, and I want to give Rene the last couple of minutes. And thanks everybody for listening. If you're not listening live, come back. If you're hearing this downstream, come back to reallibertymedia.com and chat, ucy.tv and chat. Lots of valid points.
Thanks, man. I am looking forward to closing this out with saying, remember, opinions are like certain things. Everybody has one. But what Corey is saying and what I'm telling everyone is do your research. Don't take what you see as face value. When you go on Google, just because you see it on Google doesn't mean it's real. They have a way of putting information out and making it go straight to the top in Google, misinformation. Do not take misinformation and just because it's there, spread it. Please make sure that we know there is a cure, because that cure is being called a virus by the very people who do not want us to succeed. We are not violent people, but we are not people who can stand on the sidelines and continue to be beat. If you are going to be punched in the face, you have to be prepared to defend yourself. And the biggest defense we have right now in this nation is social media and cameras. You video everything, you document everything, because the one thing you cannot change is the word that is out there. You cannot take back that word once it is spoken, other than in an apology. And you're not going to get that from those right now who have murdered an innocent man. And I do believe he's innocent because they had no grounds to do what they did that day.
That's right.
But the key here is keep your cameras rolling. And if the cameras didn't matter, why is it that...
That's the end, guys. Thanks everybody.
Have a great day. God bless you.
God bless you all. Big love.
Have a good one, Vincent. I'll let you go.
Your wish list, that's retarded babble. Protesters make the hit list soon as they start to rabble. We are nothing but fishes in the barrel. It doesn't have to be Christmas for a carol. Some decorate with ornamental decorum. Some perform Shakanar on Hanukkah and Purim. That's where my job come in. I am a blessing to the mercenary for